Toxanol's mining led to mass deforestation and increased global warming, as nature couldn't absorb the carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions without the trees. These irreversible changes to the climate also contributed to the evolution and modified our genetic code. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo. The thicker the surf, there are sure to be more tracks. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. He set up camp at the foot of the Tree of Life. It's gotten more difficult for it to find defenseless prey, as it's already eaten most of them. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. He feels you've deserved revenge because of how you were wronged. You've suffered enough to make him pay. Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Thinks that kind of diversity brings... But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths, but there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go-in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up Mecha Fingro in the Mecha Stadium that still has one stuck. It's definitely made to lend a helping hand and do the heavy lifting. Toxanol records mention it as an automaton made for moving bionucleus matter into storage areas. When a story comes to you, pay attention. Locked. Bolted shut. Just a few moves left. Make them count. The end is coming to the world, and everything else. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need... Well, he means slick, as in greasy, so you can lube the hinges of the lid. He can't argue against the fact your fur's shiny. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo-Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. wants you to think of it as a black tar spritzer. The dead zone is full of that slimy black goo. It's good for fuel, but it's also slippy stuff. Choo-Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track, or look... You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along the one you're on? Likes your shun. Seems like the world came out of its rut and is chugging toward higher ground again. Can't thank you enough for hitting the brakes and working to turn the world chug around. But let's not get derailed. As you can... He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Wing nuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugger-chugger out there. The challenge is taking them off. Says he knew you would, like he knows the way the rails run. The Wing Nut Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. Hurt 'em. At least the temp's nice and steady underground. At least you're not coming out of this empty-handed. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Choo-Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason, but he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free. He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck. He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of emergency. Yes, for something catastrophic, like something squeaky in need of greasing or an ointment to ease the pain in these dark times in general. Choo-Choo says you should help yourself to the grease sprinkler. He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open. Seems glad you think so. You're on. Choo-Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place. Wishes you goodbye. You shouldn't worry about smashing up the box. Choo-Choo has no use for it now. Choo-Choo's... He's convinced there was a bigger reason you met. Sometimes the wrong train will take you to the right place. He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. He's witnessed it himself. Says he can't see the end of your rails, but if you grease them up good, he hopes you'll enjoy an easier ride. Choo-Choo's thrilled you found the Ark. Just imagine how much faster than a chug that thing must be. And needs no rails, no roads, nothing but air. Says he's happy to see the Ark in your hands. Knows you'll go great places with it and do some good. Wonders who you might call aboard the Ark with you.
So, what we have here is an opportunity to help your next. There's a seat open on the Ark should you want to offer it as a gesture of appreciation.
Why?
If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. The only one we'd want to get away quickly from here is darkness.
But you know you can't go on without me. Even if I'm bad company, I complete you.
I think we can finally agree on something. It is better to be alone than in bad company. But best of all is being good company yourself.
After spending a life on the rails, he's eager to ride the skies with you. Just let him pack his rollerboard and he'll roll aboard. Choo-Choo says he's ready to pack up and leave. Says talking to you was interesting. Wiz says that there's no plan to confront the Merkpuff until the octopod is properly armed. He knows you'll need something that packs enough boom to put a dent in that shell, or better yet, head. Pyro sticks will do the trick. He says his old friend Boom makes all things that go bang. There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyro sticks shot off and are out there roaming free. You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyros. If you're fast, you have a shot at catching some of them before they go off. He's a peculiar little fellow that's been fiddling with splodies since he was a kidling. It runs in his blood. Their family recipes pack a punch. That's a bang plant, where Toxanol used to make all sorts of splody things before it blew up in their faces. That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. The pyro sticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the Merkpuff where it counts. He hopes so, as there's no Plan B, or more correctly, Plan C. Out of Date has named this Plan B. Plan A was to take on the World Eaters by foot, or flaps in this case. Turns out swimming down there was a bad idea. Wiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyro sticks, it squirts guppos, scaly distractions for anyone with an appetite disorder, and irresistible for the Merkpuff in particular. Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gil. He has a natural sonar and knows where the guppos sub the surf. This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom. Find Gil and he'll... He used to run a pet shop stocked with guppos, but since they've become more difficult to find, he's diverted his attention to make them grow in numbers instead of giving them away. Happy to finally get to meet you. He's seen a lot of things wash up on his miniature shore, but nothing as exciting as you. Claims to have been born swimming, but he must flap-flop clear of it during these dark days. It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against? It's crazy hard to flipper against the surf, but you can't save the world if you let it sweep you away.
Toodly way or furrow.
Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty.
I don't know.
Thinks life is like trying to ride a wave. You need to pick the right one, but you don't really know which one that is until you're on top of it. Better to ride a wave than let the perfect one pass you by.
Bidnuff tournament, ray. Bidnuff tournament, ray.
Can't imagine how wonderful it's going to be to surf on gooless goo. The world is going to live.
Bidnuff tournament, ray.
Can't thank you enough for fighting against the goo.
If it may.
Happy you ride alongside the myriad. They bring a real shine to everything they work with.
Menchawari.
Thinks that's an excellent point. Riding is life. Work is not nearly as fun.
Cofintra bidwitchen.
But none of that's nearly as
Mein Frinder.
He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there.
Wash.
Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf mucked and the air blocked his gills. He figures the Tree of Life isn't drinking either. Or, well, that's... Figures you're right, but that doesn't mean he has to drink that. His friend Wiz needs guppos for one reason or another, and Gil is ready to point you in the right direction. If you head in the right direction, you'll find a clean enough bit of surf to snag yourself some guppos. Then you can get them to Wiz for whatever he has in mind. Figures he's always been a friend to Wiz, and now he can be one to you too. Top-notch finish to this one. That's not too... Just a few moves left. Make them count. It's easy to lose track of time down here. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You could try living in harmony with what you can't see. That seems to be enough guppos to provide the octopod with infinite ammunition. He's surprised the Merc Puff's been able to hold its breath all this time. It's just another proof of the evolutionary change caused by Toxanol's contamination. Being undersurf has meant the Merc Puff has been left alone to munch on the route down there undisturbed. This means the northwest route has suffered more damage than the others. The marks the corporation left behind on the land are everywhere, but they also abandoned technology of which he's sure you only found a fraction.